I was giving a lecture this past week at Johns Hopkins University on communications for social impact. And I get requested a lot to talk about social entrepreneurship and impact investing and all the 2 million participants that we've worked with around the world and millions of investment and billions of deals sourced through our investor network. And what we've learned, I'm going to share with you a little bit about how entrepreneurship and business are the solutions to the world's biggest needs, and how sometimes business is misconstrued and can be misused, just as the same way aid can be misused and cause more harm to those that we feel called to serve, and how to find that right balance of empowerment over disempowerment. So I want to encourage you today in your righteous journey to solve problems and help people through entrepreneurship and business. I'm going to talk to you about this book. If you don't know about this book, we talk a lot about this in our base camp and our framework and all the projects we do. It's called Toxic Charity. And it's an amazing, amazing book that will just change your view. All of my students at the universities go through it, all of our Impact Junkie students and organizations, executive leaders, government leaders I've worked with in palaces from Middle East to jungles in Central America and inner cities across the United States. This is an amazing foundational read that's going to just change your mind. It's one of the things that we discuss, we reflect on, and it changes your perspective when you think about helping those in need. So we're going to dig into that a little bit. So for a lot of people today, you think business is on this side of the fence and impact is over here on another side of the fence. You can also translate impact for ministry or basically good things. And business can be viewed as good, bad, taking from people. And if you're a billionaire, you're a bad person. You've just taken from society. And over here, if you're helping sad, poor, pitiful people, you are a saint and you're a sweeter person. I want to break down that wall for you today and show you a better way that you can actually be a better entrepreneur, which is just about solving problems. Entrepreneurs are not just about making money. They're about solving problems. The most successful and wealthiest entrepreneurs are focused on solving the biggest problems on our planet for the biggest number of humans on our planet. That's what they have done. The most jobs they have created, on and on and on we can go. But you're focused on solving problems. That's at the heart of what an entrepreneur is all about. And when we go too far and we take entrepreneurship and investment out of helping empower people, we actually can become part of the problem and disempower them. And I got a lot of questions on this from the grad students that I was working with at the university. And so I just want to share some of the insights from you. And also I want to share a story of our own learning when we started Impact Junkie, which has now grown, as I mentioned, 2 million participants, 30 countries, 6 languages. We have a rigorous framework that we go through the base camp to actually get you started and jump in to be the solutions to these big problems. But it took a lot of learning and a lot of failure and we're still learning. We're constantly learning as a network, as a group. But our very first project, before we started Impact Junkie, I was on this grand stage at Harvard University. Here I am standing there in front of over 30,000 people in Harvard Yard. If you had shown me this picture 5 years earlier, I wouldn't have believed it. I would have had no clue where to start. I'm a first generation college graduate, and here I am after finishing my bachelor's and my graduate work at Harvard. I was also Harvard-wide student president. I'd run in 8 elections in 4 years. And I was also selected as a presidential fellow to go work in the federal government from the White House to the Pentagon. And I was selected to give this commencement address. And I was standing next to I didn't realize until a few days before that the honorary degree recipients included former President George H.W. Bush, Mayor Michael Bloomberg, Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, all right there, let alone all the deans, the faculty, the president, all the students and the families. And I had to stand there and deliver with no notes. And you can find the speech, and it was such an amazing moment. What a very powerful moment to stand there and to share this story. And I ended the words with, let's go serve the world with passion. There's a lot more to say. What a life-changing moment this was. But I found myself 3 years later, standing here. This is in Haiti, outside of Port-au-Prince. And after working in government, feeling that call, feeling another circle into the unknown, that calling to start that next entrepreneurial venture, I found we started this thing called Impact Junkie. What do you think? Let's do it. And our first project, actually, this shirt turned into water. We had raised funds to invest in this group. Well, we went down thinking, let's build 3 water wells. We raised enough funds. Let's build water wells. What a great idea. Sounds fantastic. Well, let's go down. Let's start digging wells. In this photo, you see me. I'm actually standing there helping load in some of the drilling equipment. But long story short, we started realizing, why are we, what kind of impact are we going to have to continue raising funds, coming back down here and drilling 3 wells at a time? These guys know how to build the wells better than we do. They're more equipped. They know where to build them. They can build them faster. They don't need us. What they need from us is, wait a minute, how much does it cost to pay for this equipment? What if we invest in them? They buy the equipment and they start a water well venture, a business, and they go around the country. And that's going to be faster to solve this big, hairy problem, to empower them through entrepreneurship and business to be the solution. They already have what they have more than we know how to do. And so we started getting out paper and started writing out business plan and working with them right there on the spot. And so much has happened since then. And there's so many other examples. And in this book, Toxic Charity as well is another great, there's so many great examples of how one of the greatest lines that Robert Lupton says in the book is, when we do for others what they have the capacity to do for themselves, we disempower them. And if you put impact on this side of the fence and you put business on that side of the fence, you run the risk of disempowering people and creating dependency, where they continue coming back asking for more funds, asking for more money, and they're never actually empowered and growing. We say, don't just give a person a fish. You may have heard this, teach them how to fish, which is better. Teaching them how to fish, you're giving them skills and tools. And I believe in the power of education. We do that a lot. But let's not stop there. What if we could invest and empower them, help them buy the lake, start a fish hatchery to replenish the lake, start a chain of fish restaurants across the region, start a network of professional fisher people around in the region, and influence national policy, start selling fishing licenses so they can replenish and maintain the fish hatchery. So what happens is, okay, well, let's give them fish and then let's teach them how to fish. Well, what happens when they fish all the fish out of the lake? And they come back asking, hey, you gave us the money and you taught us to fish, but now there's no more fish in the lake. What do we do now? What we're looking for is to turn on our entrepreneur and investor brains and actually bring sustainable solutions to these big challenges, and not just think about putting a Band-Aid or a temporary solution on a problem or treating the symptoms of a big, hairy problem, but really being dedicated to how can we create a sustainable solution. Another great example we've seen is, what about giving away free shoes? And a lot of people think, man, if you're really good, there's people without shoes around the world. You can pick an issue. We could go on and on. But you want to help people with no shoes? Let's bring in truckloads of shoes. Let's do a shoe drive. Let's raise money. Let's get the shoes. Let's all fly down there and let's give the shoes to these poor people in this village. And boy, doesn't this just feel so good. And in fact, you hear someone say, I just want to give them shoes for the rest of their life. This is what I want to do. What an impact we're having. What an impact. Well, let's think about it a little bit. When you're saying, I want to give them shoes for the rest of their life, what you're really saying is, I want them to be dependent on me for their shoes for the rest of their life. And if we really love people and we really want to create solutions and we really have the heart, actually, we need to turn on our business and entrepreneur brains. And in fact, what about the people in these villages that have businesses? What about the small businesses that are making quality shoes, handmade shoes, and are getting started, and you come in with truckloads of free shoes? What's going to happen to the local shoe economy? it's going to kill it. There's not going to be any shoe economy. And so you're going to create this dependency and perpetuate this. And actually, at the very best, you may do something that's not that helpful. And at the very worst, you could actually become part of the problem. So when you hear these terms, social entrepreneur, impact investing, sometimes I think we just need to take off the social and take off the impact. We need to just take back what entrepreneurship has always been about. In the origins of free markets and free people, it's rooted in empathy and understanding the problems and the needs of people we're serving. And when you think of some of the biggest entrepreneurs, wealthiest entrepreneurs on the planet, they have solved really big problems for really big people. And in order to say thank you, people pay in these units, we sometimes call dollars, to say thank you for this, for solving this big problem in my life. So I want to challenge you and encourage you today to see entrepreneurship and in that strive to solve problems for people, that can be what some people want to coin social entrepreneurship and impact investing, sometimes can give a pass and think, well, I'm a business person, so I don't have to be really a good business person. I can be more about greed and taking from people and not care so much. And those are just the social entrepreneurs, and the impact investors, that's a separate category. But I want to challenge you to break down that wall and see your God-given purpose. And every day that you are here on this planet, you can solve those big, hairy problems. And maybe it's something you've been through on your journey and you understand it better. You've learned a lot. You are obsessed with that problem, with that challenge, and you want to go serve more people. Go for it. That's how you create a successful business that is solving big, hairy problems for people. And you are going to be so successful, and you're going to help people be more successful by turning on that brain. When it comes to giving and helping and serving, we need to move from emergency to development. And that's how you are an entrepreneur. Bring these sustainable solutions, do life with people. There's many other stories I won't share with you right now, but there's many more on the channel, many more I'll share with you. And you've heard me talk about them if you've gone through our programs. It's an exciting and empowering thing to see people say, you changed the way I think, and to see them turn on their entrepreneur brains and you work together and serve and love our communities and our countries and our world together. So keep going for it. Imagine all the people just cheering for you, saying, don't stop, don't give up. Stay entrepreneurs.